So for today's class, you will just need your yoga strap and a blanket to sit on. Today, we're going to work in those hips and hamstrings. So this is one of my favorites. This is a really good one. So I want to just start in just that simple meditation, just taking a moment to get comfortable wherever that is. If you're in your cross-legged pose or your easy pose, just taking a moment here to get nice and stacked, ears over those shoulders, shoulders over those hips. And just take a moment to focus on your breath. Really focusing on the exhale, getting all the stale air out of the lungs. And just taking a moment to relax in the forehead, in the eyes, the cheeks, the tongue, the jaw. Taking a nice big breath in. And on that exhale, releasing the shoulders, releasing the spine. And continuing to focus on that nice big exhale. And then from here, we're just going to engage that core. We're going to gently go forward, going as far forward that's comfortable. Taking a moment to relax in the shoulders. Slowly releasing the spine. And allowing that tension to flow out with the breath. And then we'll just come up nice and slow, taking your time. We're going to switch those legs, whichever one's in front. We're going to move it to the back, just taking a moment to get readjusted. And then hinging forward again, just going as far forward that's comfortable. Relaxing the shoulders. And then from here again, we're just going to come up nice and slow, just taking your time. From here, we're going to transition onto our spine. So before we do that, I want to grab that blanket and we're just going to roll it into just that little cervical roll here. So I'm just going to take it to that square. We're just going to make a couple rolls in here. And then we're going to place that blanket towards the top of our mat. And then we're just going to come down. But before you come down, make sure that strap is close enough to grab. So kind of have that next to you so it'll be available. Then we're just going to tuck our chin, engage our core. We're just going to come down nice and slow and controlled. Kind of adjusting however you need to here. And then we're just going to come into our reclined cobbler's pose. So just bringing the soles of the feet together and then just gently opening up those hips. We're just going to kind of let gravity pull those hips down. So taking a moment here to relax in the forehead, in the eyes, the cheeks, the tongue, the jaw. Taking a nice big breath in. And on that exhale, releasing the shoulders, softening the arms all the way to the fingertips. Relaxing in the heart. Relaxing the spine all the way down to the hips. And then just feeling that gentle pressure here between the soles of the feet. We're just going to take a moment to release, to relax. So focusing on your breath, focusing on the music, trying to keep your thoughts from wandering. And then from here, we're just going to gently lift those knees. We're going to extend one leg down. We're going to bring one leg up. And this is where you can use that strap just to help a little bit. So we're just going to take that strap and put it right into the arch of the foot. We're just going to draw this leg as far forward that's comfortable. From here, I want to grab that strap just a little bit lower so you can really relax those shoulders. So just take a moment to wiggle that head, making sure you're not holding any tension in the neck or the jaw, releasing those shoulders. And we're just going to keep a little micro bend in that knee, bringing this leg just to a point where you feel that nice stretch. And then from here, we're just going to grab this strap with the same side. And I want it to be a little bit closer to that foot. And we're just going to drop this leg as far open that's comfortable for you. Kind of, again, just keeping a little bend in the knee. Gently relaxing in the shoulders, releasing the neck. And then we're just going to allow gravity to pull this leg down. And then we'll gently bend that knee. We're just going to bring that leg all the way back up. We're going to grab with that opposite hand. And then this time we're just going to cross over, bringing that leg as far down that's comfortable. So this one, I want you guys to try to keep those shoulders down. So that toe might not make it to the floor, but just kind of soften here with that breath and just kind of gently allow that leg to fall wherever it goes. And then from here, we're going to bend this knee. We're going to bring this leg all the way up. We're going to loosen that strap and we're going to grab that opposite leg and just place that strap right in the arch of the foot here. And then we're going to grab a little bit lower, and we're just going to bring this leg as far forward that's comfortable, making sure you have a little bend in the knee. Taking a moment to relax the shoulders, to wiggle that head if you need to. And then again, just focusing here on your breath, trying to keep your mind from wandering. And then we'll go ahead and release. We're going to grab with the same hand, same side, grabbing a little bit closer to that foot. This one, we're just going to open up that leg, just allowing that leg to come down as far down as comfortable. Taking a moment to relax in the shoulders. Again, to kind of soften the spine here, softening those hips and just feeling that stretch in the hamstrings. And then we'll gently bend that knee. We're going to bring this leg all the way up. And this is where we're grabbing with that opposite hand and just crossing this leg as far down that's comfortable. Trying to keep both shoulders down. And just feeling that gentle twist here in the spine. And then we'll go ahead and release, bringing this leg all the way forward. You can take that strap and put it off to the side for now. This next one, I want you guys to stay right where you're at. I'm just going to move just so you can have a different view here. This one, I want to go into kind of a reclined shoelace pose. So we're going to go ahead, kind of stay down here. This one, we're just going to extend those legs up. Kind of getting nice and stacked here. So those ankles are going to be right on top of those knees, knees on top of those hips. And just take a moment here to feel that energy in the legs. And then this is a pretty big one. So there's a couple different poses we can get into. So this first one is our shoelace. And this is where we're going to cross as deep as we can in those thighs. We're going to bend those knees and grab those toes. And then we're just going to kind of draw those shoulders down just to release here. So if this is too much for you, what I want you to do is just cross at the shins, grabbing those feet and just coming into kind of a reclined cross-legged pose here. So go ahead and do whatever feels best for you. Just taking a moment to make sure there's no tension in the shoulders and just kind of settling into this one. And then we'll go ahead and release, bringing those legs all the way up, just taking a moment again to feel that energy in the legs. Continuing with that breath. And then from here, we're going to do the same on the other side. So depending on that level of flexibility, you may just cross right at those shins, kind of grab those feet and just relax the shoulders here. If you want that little extra going into that shoelace, we're going to cross a little bit deeper here in the thighs, trying to stack those knees and then grabbing those feet and then releasing here. So this one too, you can even wiggle that head side to side, making sure you're not holding any tension in the neck and the shoulders, just strong grip with those hands. And then from here, we'll go ahead and release again. We're just going to bring those legs all the way up, just taking a moment to feel that energy. And then we're going to go ahead and bend those knees, planting those feet down nice and strong. We're just going to gently roll onto our side and work our way all the way back up to that seated position. From here, we're going to unfold that blanket and we're going to just put it back into that position to sit on. So something just lifts you just enough. And I want to go into just a forward bend here. So bringing those legs forward, scooching those sitting bones behind you, engaging that core. We're just going to go as far forward that's comfortable. Taking a moment to relax those shoulders, to release the neck, the jaw, and using that breath to release whatever tension you may be holding on to, just slowly working your way down here. And then before we come up, I want you guys to point those toes. So just take a moment to go as deep as you can here. And then we're going to go forward again, making sure those feet are in alignment here. This is going to kind of warm up those shins. Continuing with that nice big exhale, getting all the stale air out of the lungs. And then we're going to release, just coming up nice and slow, taking your time. From here, we're going to go as wide as comfortable. So getting those legs nice and open, kind of scooching those sitting bones behind you. That will give you a little bit more freedom here. And then again, we're just going to engage our core. We're just going to go as far forward that's comfortable. So using that breath again to just release whatever tension you may be holding on to. And then from here, we're just going to come up nice and slow again. This next one, I want to do our revolved head to toe. So this one, what we're going to do is bring one leg in, kind of scooch off that blanket just enough to get that sole of the foot next to the thigh. And then this one, we're going to bring one arm forward and we're just going to stretch over here. So depending on that level of flexibility, right? You may be here or here, just kind of using that breath to slowly release into this one. Just going as deep as you can. And then from here, we're just going to gently come forward. So just kind of shifting those hips forward and then releasing again, just going as far forward that's comfortable. And then we're just going to come up nice and slow, taking your time, and we're going to switch sides here. So extending that opposite leg out, kind of bringing the other one in. From here, we're going to place that arm forward and we're just going to go over. And just going as far over that's comfortable, just really using that breath here to soften, to release. And then we're gently going to release forward. And then just taking a moment to go again, just as far forward that's comfortable. And then we'll just gently come back up. From here, we're going to transition onto those knees. So depending on whatever floor you may be using, you can take that blanket. We're just going to take it right across that mat here. So I'm going to open it up nice and wide, right in the center. From here, I want to work into our supported dragons pose. So we're going to come onto those knees. We're going to form that 90 and 90. And then from here, we're going to take those nice wide fingers and we're just going to go as far forward that's comfortable. And then just taking a moment here to release those shoulders down away from the ears. You also want to try to work this heel down, kind of getting into that Achilles tendon. And then we'll slowly come back up. From here, we're going to take those wide fingers down to the same side. We're going to get that back foot active. We're just going to lift up enough to wiggle that foot as far back that's comfortable. And then kind of coming into this runner stretch, just taking a moment to dip that back knee. That's going to get deep into that hip flexor. And then this one, we're just going to release that knee all the way down, relaxing that foot. And if you want a little extra here, you can get into your lizard pose. We're just going to come down onto those forearms. So this is a really big one. So make sure you're not in any pain. It should be uncomfortable, but it shouldn't be painful. And then from here, we're just going to come up again nice and slow if you need to. We're going to sink back into our half split. So just dropping those hips back. We're going to go as far forward that's comfortable. Make sure you have a little bend in your knees so you don't lock that knee. And then we're just going to release here, trying to relax that knee joint. And then we're going to slowly make our way back up, just coming back onto those knees. We're going to do the same on the other side. So we're going to start with that 90 and 90. From here, we're going to take those nice wide fingers and we're just going to go as far forward that's comfortable. Taking a moment to drop those shoulders down away from the ears. Trying to work into that Achilles, trying to work your heel down. And then we'll slowly come back up. This is where we're going to take those nice wide fingers. We're going to plant them on the same side, getting that back foot active. We're going to lift up and just wiggle that foot as far back that's comfortable. And then just gently dip that back knee down. And then release that knee all the way down, relaxing that foot. From here, if you want that little extra, we can go down onto those forearms. So just go slow. If it's painful, work your way back up. And then we'll slowly come back up if you need to. From here, we're just going to sink those hips back into our half split pose, keeping a little bend in the knee, leading with the chest, just going as far forward that's comfortable. And then we're going to come back up from here. We're going to work our way back onto our knees. We can get rid of our blanket. So go ahead and fold it back up and just kind of take it off to the side. This next one is our downward dog. So getting into that tabletop, I want those toes active, just a little bit wider than those knees. We're going to shrug our shoulders, drop our head. And then whenever you're ready, lifting those hips up and pushing those heels back. Just taking a moment to rotate the shoulder blades into the spine and make sure you're breathing. And then from here, we're going to gently walk our hands into our feet. We're just going to come into a forward bend, continuing to lift those hips and to soften in the belly, soften in the spine. Then I want to just come up to that halfway lift. So just enough to barely get those fingertips down, lengthening in the spine. If this is too much for those knees, I want you just to bring your hands to your shins and you can kind of relax those knees a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and gently release down. We're going to tuck our chin and we're just going to roll up nice and slow and controlled. Taking your time, one vertebrae at a time. And then when you get all the way up, just take a moment to push those shoulders down away from the ears. Wiggling that head side to side, releasing all that tension out of the neck, out of the shoulders. From here, I want to just go wide. So as wide that's comfortable for you. We're just going to take a moment to hinge down again. So just coming into that halfway lift. Lengthening in the spine. And then if you need to, we're just going to go just a little bit wider. I'm going to bring those hands down nice and strong. And I'm just going to walk my way out to one side here. Just coming into this side lunge. From here, if you want that little extra, you can come down again onto those forearms, getting just a little bit deeper. Making sure you're breathing, really focusing on the exhale. And then staying nice and stacked in the upper body, we're just going to work our way right into the other side here. Coming as far down that's comfortable. And then if you want that extra, just coming down onto those forearms, just getting a little bit deeper. And then getting stacked again in the upper body, we're just going to work our way back to center. We're going to come back into just that halfway lift here. Just extending as much as you can here in the spine. Lengthening in the tailbone. And then we're going to sink down. We're going to tuck that chin and we're just going to, again, roll up nice and slow and controlled. Working your way all the way up, getting those shoulders down and then stepping those legs together. We're going to go back to the back of our mat here. We're going to work our way back down. So a little bit wider than hip distance. We're just going to hinge at those hips. Getting those hands nice and wide, bending those knees if you need to. We're just going to walk our way back out. Just enough to still be able to lift those hips, working those heels down. And then we're just going to come down onto those knees. And we're going to sink right into that child's pose. So a little bit wider in those knees, those big toes touching, sinking those hips down, extending those arms out. And just taking a moment here to release. allowing all that tension to just melt away. And then we're going to slowly work our way back up onto those knees. This next one, I want to work into our plank, and then we're just going to work right into our pigeon pose. So those nice wide fingers, those active toes, we're just going to lift up, and we're just going to bring this leg to that 45, getting nice and stacked, right? Knee is going to line up right with that hip, and we're just going to slide all the way back as far down that's comfortable. And then releasing down onto those forearms, taking a moment just to breathe into the spine. And then this one too, if you want that little extra, extending those arms all the way out and releasing down onto the chest. And then we'll gently come back up. We're just going to place those nice wide fingers down, nice and grounded, getting that back foot active. We're going to come back into that plank, and we're just going to bring that opposite leg to that 45, making sure we're in alignment. And we're just going to slide straight down, staying square in those hips. And then releasing onto the forearms, or if you want that extra, extending those arms all the way out. And just reclining down onto your chest here. And then we're going to slowly come back up, planting those hands. We're going to get that back foot active. We're going to go ahead and come all the way back. We're just going to work our way down onto those knees. And then this next one, I want to use that blanket again for just a little bit of extra cushion, just depending on whatever floor you may be using. So we'll take that blanket, we're going to open it up again nice and wide, and we're just going to place it right across the center of our mat here. And then we're just going to work our way down onto our belly. And then from here, what I want to do is we're going to bring one arm to that 90 just to relax our forehead down. I'm going to use my other hand to kind of take me up onto my side. And I'm just going to swing this leg as far forward that's comfortable. And then kind of working your way back onto your belly. This is a really big one for that hip. And then if you need to, you can kind of grab onto the back of the leg or grabbing onto those toes. And we're just going to take a moment to be quiet here, to focus on your breath or focus on your music. And just release. And then we're going to go ahead and come back to center. We're going to do the same on the other side. So coming onto that 90, we're going to push up just enough to swing that leg as far forward that's comfortable. Kind of working your way back onto your belly, just allowing gravity to kind of pull that hip down. Grabbing onto the back of the leg or grabbing onto those toes. And then just taking a moment to release. To soften in the spine, to soften in the hips. And then we'll go ahead and come back to center. From here, we're going to push our way back up. We'll go ahead and fold our blanket back up just enough to sit on. Kind of working those creases out. And then I want to go into our cobbler's pose. So coming around here, we're just going to bring the soles of the feet together. Just taking a moment to kind of wiggle those sitting bones behind you. And I want to just grab onto our ankles here. We're just going to take a moment to just get nice and stacked. So ears over those shoulders, shoulders over those hips. And just breathe here. Just take a moment to draw that breath inward. Focusing on slower, deeper breathing. And then from here, if anybody wants a little bit extra, we're just going to go as far forward that's comfortable. Continuing to relax those shoulders, relaxing the spine, and focusing on that exhale, getting all the stale air out of the lungs. And then we'll gently come back up. From here, I want to work into our half butterfly. So we're just going to extend one leg forward, keeping that opposite leg right where it's at, engaging that core and just going as far forward that's comfortable. And then slowly coming back up. We're just going to switch sides here. So bringing that opposite leg out, bringing the other one in, kind of adjusting those hips, engaging that core and just going forward again. Releasing the shoulders, relaxing the spine, focusing on that exhale. And then coming up nice and slow. From here, we're going to work our way back down onto our spine. So coming around, we're going to bend those knees. Kind of tucking that chin, engaging that core. We're just going to come down nice and slow and controlled. This next one, I want to keep one knee bent. We're just going to take that opposite foot, bringing that ankle right above that knee. This is where we're going to interlace those fingers, grabbing behind the thigh here, drawing this leg as far in. If you want a little extra, taking it all the way out to the shin and kind of drawing this leg in. Taking a moment to wiggle your head. Release the tension out of the shoulders. So strong grip, soft shoulders. And then we'll go ahead and release. This one, I want you to keep that top leg right where it's at. I'm going to grab my foot with my same hand, and I'm just going to drop my foot straight down to my mat here. Coming into just this gentle twist, working both shoulders down, and just taking a moment to relax in the shoulders, to soften in the spine, and just feel that stretch right in the IT band. And then we'll go ahead and come back up, bringing those feet back to center here, keeping those knees bent. We're going to do the same on the other side. So lifting the opposite leg, just placing the ankle right above that knee. This is where we're going to interlace those fingers, drawing this leg as far forward that's comfortable. If you want a little extra, taking it all the way to the shin, and then just taking a moment here to wiggle your head, to release that tension in the neck and the shoulders and the jaw. And just focus here on your breath. And then we'll go ahead and bring this leg down. We're going to keep that top leg right where it's at. I'm going to grab my foot with the same hand, and I'm just going to bring this foot straight down to my mat here. Coming into this gentle twist. Taking a moment to open up those shoulders, to soften in the heart, to soften in the spine, and just feeling that stretch right in that IT band. And then we'll go ahead and release, coming all the way back. We're going to release those legs down. From here, we're just going to work into that Savasana. So if you want to take that blanket, you sure can, and just use that to kind of little extra pillow. We're just going to take a moment here to kind of tuck those shoulder blades into the spine, to open up those legs as wide as you'd like here, to fully release, and those hips. And we're going to start by softening in our forehead, softening in the eyes, the cheeks, the tongue, the jaw. Releasing the shoulders. Releasing the elbow joint, the wrist, releasing those arms all the way down to the fingertips. Softening in the heart. Softening in the spine, just gently lengthening each vertebrae all the way down to the tailbone. Releasing the belly. Releasing the hips. And then relaxing those legs, releasing the knee joint, adjusting in those ankles if you need to, and relaxing all the way down to the toes. And then from here, I want to just take a moment to scan the body, to see if you're holding on to any tension, any pain, any soreness, stiffness. It could be physical, it could be emotional. Just taking a moment to identify those areas in the body. And then from here, I want you to picture a beautiful gold sun about 3 to 5 inches in diameter. And I want you to place those gold suns wherever you need them most in the body. You can have 1 or 2 or 5 or 10. Just take a moment to place them in those areas that need a little extra attention. And then allow those gold suns to send that healing, beautiful golden energy deep into the tissues, into the muscles, into the bone, into the cartilage, allowing that energy to go deep into the body. Feel that beautiful, warm, healing energy saturating those areas. And then just take a moment to breathe in love and compassion, to send it to those areas that need it the most. And on the exhale, release those things that no longer serve you, allowing it to flow out with the breath. And then from here, just slowly bring your awareness back, starting to wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes. I want you to move or stretch in whichever way feels best to you. And then from here, if you haven't done so, go ahead and bend those knees. I want to roll onto our side and I want to stay there for just a moment for gratitude. So just taking your time, coming onto your side, adjusting however you need to here. And I want you just to take a moment to thank your body, to thank it for its ability to heal, for your strength, for your flexibility, for the ability to trust. Yoga can be very vulnerable, so it takes a lot of trust to work into those poses, to release, to let go. And just take a moment for the courage to always try new things. And then when you're ready, we're just going to gently, slowly push our way back up to that seated position. Ooh, good job, you guys. Namaste.